Chapter 8 The Unification of China.
Han's dynasty's success was mostly due to Han Huidi, the martial emperor who pursued two policies in particular: administration centralization and imperial expansion. The late centuries of the Zhao dynasty brought political confusion and chaos to China. That led to the period of the Warring States, which stimulated thoughtful people to reflect on society's political and social order. Three schools of thought that emerged during the centuries of chaos: Confucianism, Taoism, and legalism. All of the three had a deep influence in Chinese political and cultural traditions.
The Silk Road was a network of trade and cultural transmission routes that were central to cultural interaction through regions of the Asian continent, connecting the West and East. During this time, merchants, pilgrims, monks, soldiers, nomads, and urban dwellers traded silk textiles and iron, which was the main source of income in China. The Terracotta Army is a collection of terracotta sculptures depicting the armies of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. It is a form of funerary art buried with the emperor in 210 to 209 BCE, and whose purpose was to protect the emperor in his afterlife. Confucian conceptions of respect for the elders has been focused on preserving the traditional role of the father as primary leader and decision maker of the family. In the hierarchy of traditional Chinese cultural family life, the father and sons take prominence over the mother and daughters.
Hello, I am Confucius, the famous philosopher. Today we will be talking about my key Confucian values. Now, to start it off, we have Ren. Ren, a sense of humanity and kindness. Basically, everybody in the community coming together as one. And now we have Li. Li is a sense of propriety and respect. Basically, just not disobeying your elders. And then we have finally, now this is my favorite, Zhao. Filial piety, which is basically family delegation, which is basically talking about how everybody has to come together to become a good family. And that's all I have for my Confucianism.
Taoism is a philosophical, ethical, political, and religious tradition of Chinese origin that emphasizes living in harmony. Taoists believe in retreating from politics and living life in a simple manner.
Chapter 18 Nomadic Empires and Eurasian Integration.
During the Mongol expansion, Genghis Khan forged the various Mongol tribes into a power alliance that built the largest empire ever. The Mongol Empire brought the societies of Eurasia into closer than ever before. By complete dominance, they would invade the local tribes by raping their women and forcing them to join.
Either you join us or you end up like him.
Okay, I'll join you guys.
On the other hand, some tribes would choose death before joining their empire.
Either you and your tribe join us or we will murder you all.
Alright, die!
The most important part of the Mongolian state was the army, which magnified his power of a small population that relied on astounding equestrian skills. The Mongols grew up with basic warrior fundamentals such as how to ride horses and shoot their bows in order for them to hone their skills until they became old enough to join the army. Mongol horsemen traveled more than 100 kilometers per day just to surprise an enemy, and they understood the psychological dimensions of warfare and used them to their advantage.
During his reign, Genghis Khan was open to all religions and made sure that there was institutions that supported their beliefs. Some of those religions were Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Islam. In the Mongol Empire, trade routes were well used when rulers such as Genghis Khan made a huge system of trade as well as a messaging system that messengers from distant lands on diplomatic missions could safely cross through all of the Mongol Empire due to the posting of thousands of Mongol soldiers all throughout the trade routes.
Nomadic society consisted of two social classes, nobles and commoners. Nobles wielded absolute authority over their forces, and they dealt swiftly with those who defied them. Leaders passed their noble status to their heirs, but their heirs could lose status if they did not provide the adequate leadership for their clans and tribes. On the other hand, commoners could win recognition as nobles by courageous behavior during the war. If they were smart diplomats, they could then arrange alliances between clans and tribes and gain enough support to overthrow unworthy leaders. While the Mongols didn't produce much art of their own, they did, however, embrace and appreciate the arts around them from their conquered lands. For example, Genghis Khan brought textile workers, artists, architects, stoneworkers, and jewelers from regions to the Mongols. Chapter 15: The Resurgence of Empire in East Asia.
Increased agricultural production, improved transportation systems, population growth, urbanization, and industrial production combined to stimulate the Chinese economy. Certain regions in China specialize in the production of manufactured goods. Millions of cultivators made fruits and vegetables for sale in the market, and manufacturers supplied both domestic and foreign markets. Samurai played the most distinctive role in Japanese political and military affairs. They served as part of the local army and followed Bushido, a code that meant the way as a warrior and loyalty to their lord. They would commit seppuku when they failed tasks.
For over 3 centuries during the Song dynasty, China experienced sustained growth in income and population, structural change in the economy, and increased pace of technological innovation. Some examples would be gunpowder, irrigation systems, printing, and improved techniques for iron and steel production, which is also known as metallurgy.
Chinese influence has been repeatedly significant to include Buddhist religious painting, inkwash painting of landscapes in Chinese painting traditions, calligraphy of ideographs, and the paintings of plants and animals, especially birds and flowers. However, distinctively Japanese traditions have developed in all these different unique fields. During the Song era, strengthened patriarchy explained the popularity of foot binding among privileged classes. Young girls would tightly wrap their feet in cloth to prevent their feet from growing. It would display their high social standing but leave their feet malformed and make it hard to walk.
The Song dynasty's Zhou Dunyi was seen as a true pioneer of Neo-Confucianism. It developed both as a renaissance of traditional Confucian ideas and as a reaction to the ideas of Buddhism and religious Taoism.